Medicare for All is comprehensive. It covers all health care needs. For senior citizens, it will finally include dental care, hearing aids, and eyeglasses.
But you don't know.
Second of all,
you don't know that,
second
Bernie.
of all,
We'll come to you in a second,
I do know,
Congressman.
and I wrote the damn bill.
Right there. Whatever you want to think of the debates, call it a football match, that is true. Say that it doesn't give you enough time to explain your point, that is also true. Say 45 seconds can't explain the nuances of Medicare for All or college policy, that is true. You have to be somewhat succinct, but even in succinctness, you can't get across all of the nuances of a particular policy proposal. And CNN has a capitalistic drive to try to maximize profit and views off of things that take place, so conflict becomes one of those things that draw attention. It's like watching a car crash. It may suck for the people involved in the process. Sanders called it degrading, or their campaign called it degrading. But it's all the public has. It's what they have just to view you by. Yes, they can look at your record and everything else, but oftentimes what people are seeing in these kind of snapshot judgments that you're seeing from the standpoint of polling as it goes about its way is that the debates do indeed matter. Sanders gets a modest bump, but that modest bump is more than anyone else in the new Reuters poll, and it puts him in striking distance for the first time of one Joe Biden. Biden doesn't go anywhere. And I have more bad news for Kamala Harris. Here's another poll showing Kamala Harris got destroyed. Welcome to the Soapbox. My name is Jamarl Thomas. This is the Progressive Soapbox. Guys, if you dig this content and you find yourself coming back to this channel often, please like, share, subscribe. You can always support through PayPal, Patreon. YouTube is an untrustworthy actor, so at this point, my support comes from you, and I appreciate you from allowing me to do this, the news. I follow polls, and I've always said, even on more than one occasion, that the amount of inference or the amount of emphasis that you put on a particular poll has to be moderated, because we're still almost like a year out before anybody casts the first vote. People are going to float up and down in these polls. And oftentimes the public is just getting to know many of the candidates. Now they know Sanders, or at the very least they've been seeing him and they're hearing him make his pitch. Biden has been around forever, and they're seeing some of the new people in the race. So you have to take him with a grain of salt. However, when you start having the debates and when you start getting more engaged, people start paying more attention to this stuff, and their opinions started to get a lot more hardened. And when those opinions start to get hardened, it's sometimes difficult to shake them away from those particular opinions. So the debates matter, especially when you're talking about this is the time where those opinions have started to crystallize. The new poll is from Reuters. Reuters is a main agency, and in that new poll, for the most part, Sanders comes out looking extraordinarily good. He is in striking distance of Joe Biden at this point. Kamala Harris has tumbled back down to earth. I want to show you something. Take a look at the outline. The outline is funny to me because the outline gets across how bad things have gone for Kamala. This is... All right. All right. So this is... This is Reuters. Now, they put a line around so you can see where they were and where they are now. So Joe Biden, he was 22.4. He's gone to 22.1. Slight loss, but he's holding. Look at Sanders. Sanders was at 18.4. He's gone to, I'm sorry, he was 16.4. Now he's at 18.4. He's in striking distance of Joe Biden here. Let's see. All right. Yeah, he's in striking distance of Biden. There's a 3% variation in the poll. And so he's within, or closer to 3% of the 3 point something, but he's close. He's within striking distance. Warren lost ground, which is interesting. But it's almost like you can argue that the people who were at Warren went to Sanders. And I'm going to explain why I'm saying that. Look at Harris. She went from 9 to 5. Working 9 to 5. Kamala Harris goes from 9.6 riding high to 5.7. and everybody else. Pete Buttigieg gains 0.8, but Sanders gains more than anybody else in the race, and everybody else is in the toilet. Interestingly to note, and the thing I kind of want to point to, is that the bulk of the respondents cared more about the electability than anything else. They would say we like Warren's policies, and that was shown in the other Quinnipiac poll. We love Warren's policies. Warren is a policy wonk. That's what they continuously say, which sounds good. And you would think, wow, that's a great thing because we need people who could put through policy. But what the people are voting on, what they're saying is, we care more about the ability of people to be able to beat Trump more than anything else in a race. In fact, just to give you the specifics, it's right here. It's interesting. And that's why I'm saying those people might have went from Warren to Sanders. Like, because Warren loses a few, like, points something. But if those people are saying, look, we want somebody who can beat Trump, and they don't believe Warren can beat Trump, then there's a natural incentive for those people to actually go to somebody who they think can. And it seems that Sanders is being lumped in with Biden for electability. It's interesting. The poll taken between August 1st through 5th, meaning after the debates, 22% would vote for Biden, showing no change from a similar poll last month. 18% will vote for Sanders, up 2 percentage points. 11% says the most important quality is someone with a strong healthcare plan. That's 11%. 5% says it's a strong voice in the environment. 36% of Democrats say they're looking for somebody who can win. That matters more than anything else by far. 33% of minorities back Biden, and 19% chose Sanders. Nobody else is close. Nobody else is close. This is a problem for Warren. By the same token, Sanders is doing extraordinarily well. And again, I would argue that a lot of that was from the debate performance. The I wrote the damn bill thing shut Tim Ryan up. And it made Bernie Sanders look like, oh my God, he knows what he's talking about. He's the guy that wrote that bill. He put him down. And I would wager to you that it put emphasis on Sanders in this moment. And it stuck in their minds. And it's not just this moment. There were multiple moments in this debate that Sanders did an extraordinary job. And even Elizabeth Warren, both of them were working in concert with one another because both of them are kind of defending similar plans. And CNN was never good enough to try to find the minutia of the differences between the two. So instead, CNN was just trying to say, this guy said bad things about you. What do you have to say against it? And allowing other people in the race to essentially attack Sanders and, by extension, Warren. The catch here is when you did that, though, if you didn't put them down, what it made it look like as if they knew what they were talking about. It also made them look like they were authorities on this very specific issue, meaning they won the day on this particular issue. And what you're seeing in the polling attests to such. By the same token, the interesting and the most interesting point that Sanders and Warren will have to contend with, and especially anybody else who's trying to take down Biden, is electability. All of these polls are showing that what people care about most is whether or not you can beat Trump. And it sounds like Sanders might have edged in on that, but it sounds like the strongest sticking point that Biden is having in this case is, we think that's the guy that could beat Trump. No, we don't think he has good policy ideas. No, the other stuff, he's a gaffe machine. We think he may have mental confusion. But despite that, we think America would bite on that. I'm fascinated by that particular dynamic. The catch here is the policy and whether or not people will bite are not separate and distinct from one another. The notion that people are saying we love policy ideas from Sanders and Warren, but we think Biden is more electable, as if those things are two separate and distinct quantities. Those are not two separate and distinct quantities. Those things are completely and inextricably intertwined with one another. It is true that there are certain people who can put on a certain facade and reach out in a situation. But what we'll put to you is that policy does that also, even though policy is not the end-all be-all of everything. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Policy is extraordinarily important. And to make that point clear, Sanders gained like 12% support from the youth. That's a demographic that he already had. He ends up getting more support from that demographic in spades. Why? Because he says, I want to wipe out your college debt. The policy in this case mattered, especially people who were active, online, engaged, paying attention, and said, he's talking about me. He's going to get my support because he is talking about me. The faux quality of electability, this, I want to say ephemeral, but somebody I think called me on that last time, but this elusive, abstract thing, this like fog of sorts that they were using in order to put this on Biden, this crown of electability. I don't entirely know what that means, if I'm being honest. I know the strict definition of the word, this person is more likely to win the election, but what does it mean in real world terms of what qualities does the individual exude in order to get this? And I will put to you that those qualities are massively subjective, and if they are indeed subjective, then the notion of electability becomes somewhat foggy at best. I do agree that I think Warren has a hard time standing up to Trump. I think that's true. I also think that Sanders and Biden, in a situation of one-on-one, comes across better, if that makes sense. By the same token, this notion that Joe Biden is more electable, I think needs to be revisited. Joe Biden has several severe weaknesses. The criminal record, especially going up against Trump, is a problem. Not to mention the busing stuff. A lot of the stuff is a problem, and I suspect that's going to get weeded out in the debates. And I still go with this notion that don't think Biden is going to survive the debates. Not literally, I mean this in a political sense. But we will see. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, but we could see. What we do see, though, is that Sanders and his debate performance paid off. One of the polls I was looking at showed that Sanders was going to be competitive against Trump in Texas, that he was winning. He was only 1 or 2. I think Biden was also in this case. That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. But just wanted to point this out. I didn't want this video to be long. I just wanted to show people are still feeling the burn. All 2015, the polls showed Bernie too far behind to win right up to the one contest. Yes. Then the polls showed him neck and neck. It helps depress turnout. Yes, that's why they matter. If people don't think he has a chance, they look at it and say, okay, he has no chance. Polls matter. The perception of things matter. This is not, there's not much to do about nothing. How people perceive these things matter. Like, for example, what happened? What changed between Sanders being in the second debate and the first debate? The only difference was morale. It was people were interested. They were engaged. They said, that's a horse. That's a horse. They got excited. Morale matters. Tangibly, pretty much nothing changed. But in the real world thing of people's brains and how they were considering the race, it did indeed change. They were feeling the burn. And these polls get to such. They're pointing at such. All right. Let's see. Last one. We're going to end this because I have one more that I want to get to. And these are just kind of updates on polling stuff. Kills for a living. You know who's electable? Tulsi, and she's trash. Looks like she's making it to the third debate. She ain't making it to the third debate. We'll see. Maybe. We'll see. She has to get a certain degree of percentages in the polls. And I think your point is she's not getting the percentages that she needs. What is Tulsi's thing in the polls on this one? She's at 0.9%. She's gone up 0.7%. She's tripled her support. She's tripled her support. Real terms. I mean, and don't poo-poo that. I mean, there are 20 people in this race. And nobody knew who she even was. And she's leapfrogged. She's ahead of Klobuchar, de Blasio, Ryan, Gillibrand, Delaney, Bennett. Like, she's jumped ahead of names. I mean, Julian Castro, O'Rourke, Yang, Cory Booker, Buttigieg. The people who are above her are known factors. De Blasio's even gained. De Blasio has gone up 0.6. He went from nothing. Klobuchar gone up 0.7. Gabbard 0.9. Castro gone down. O'Rourke gone down by over a point. Yang is gone down, but he's stayed the same. Booker has gained. But understand why. Again, what's changed? He put a knife in Joe Biden. That's what's changed. That's why Booker has gained ground. They're debates, they're football matches. I'm telling you, that's what they are. That's what they are. That's what they're looking at car crashes. There are car crashes. All right, I'm going to end this. If you guys enjoy, like, share, subscribe. You can always support PayPal page. I'll see you guys in a few. Thanks all.